Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, taking another look at the Tu-1, and this time we're running this thing with a minimal crew. We're running it solo, and we're kind of in a bad situation here because we're going up against two player tier 8s on the other team, and we only have one tier 8 on our team. Now, the enemy tier 8, we got Super Papa and the XF-15C, which is a very capable platform. It's essentially a combo power prop and jet engine aircraft, which allows it to be able to get some pretty significant airspeed, good altitude performance, and a set of 20mm cannons. Now, we also have an F2G on the enemy team as well, sporting a similar cannon arrangement. Here I was kind of testing the overheat rate on the 23s, and I discovered that it really takes the 23s a very long time to overheat, so that's something to bear in mind if you're looking at sustained damage against a target. Getting a few passing hits on those aircraft. That last one we heard sounded like it hit pretty hard. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, those 45s definitely made contact on that one airframe, and he is hurting pretty bad. Trying to get these cannons on target, but it looks like they already took out that one aircraft we had damaged, allowed us to flip the zone. And now I was going to head for their command center since they haven't caught it yet, but I see that there's two heavies inbound on my position. I want to try and get this Hornet in the forward hemisphere engagement here, but he managed to take out my gunner pretty effectively. We lost a lot of airspeed climbing up to meet him, and now I'm trying to get that back in the dive. We're getting some good acceleration, but he is starting to catch up on us. Alright, now we're getting the separation we want, and he has turned to try and engage our bombers. Our P-51H is trying to chase him down right now, but I got an opportunity, and those cannons can really reach out and touch people, especially when they're low on health, to be able to finish off what's left of what could be a very dangerous piece of equipment. I see the enemy player in the F2G, and I'm trying to snipe him out at range, but he is maneuvering, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to hone in these guns. But there he settles in a straight line, and we're able to get those guns on target. This is where this aircraft kind of excels, going after these ground attack aircraft. I want to kill this air defense aircraft before the French tier 8 ground attacker took it out with those really powerful tail gunner, which we are now getting hit by. But we should be able to make short work of this with a couple of good 45mm cannon hits. You can see just chunking it away, and those 23s were helping out quite a bit. I don't really want to stay engaging this aircraft if I can avoid it. Sure, he'll get on my tail and cause us some problems, but what I really want to do is get after Super Papa over here, because he's going to be a dangerous target to let sit. Now, I'm kind of surprised here. They managed to take out my engine. Now they've even managed to take out my wing, so that little air defense aircraft really did some serious work on us, but we managed to flip the zone through the help of some of our allies, and we're getting Super Papa knocked out here because he is totally target focused right now on our Hornet, who just crashed. We have the F2G right here, and I'm not going to bother turning with him. I'm hammering down on our 40 seconds of boost we have available, and I'm going after this air defense, or this ground attacker, because I don't want the ground attacker to flip this zone if I ignore it too long. We're doubling back. We see the F2G. The F2G is the player, and surprisingly he decides he's going to go after that air defense aircraft and ignore me, and that allows me to make short work of him with successive hits from these big 45mm cannons. This is a bit of a mistake. We're trying to climb up to engage a bomber. Usually not a good thing to do, especially in the vertical. This aircraft struggles to have the same type of climb rate you'd see from other tier 7 heavies. This is meant to kind of operate below 6,000 feet, and these Ju-288s like to be up at around 8, so we'll definitely have an issue if we try and chase down this airframe. And we're getting low on our boost right now. We're kind of stalling out a bit, or we're not stalling out, but we're getting into a position where we could easily stall if we had to turn. I see this P-51D. This is an altitude fighter, but we are closing on it, so I figure I might as well take a couple of pot shots with the 45. And we're not getting any of these to connect, but now he seems to be stabilizing his flight path, and we're able to get a good hit there. That second hit, I'm not quite sure where that went, but the third one made good contact. We note that the bomber seems to be coming back in, so we're in a vector for an intercept on that bomber aircraft. We know we got some good damage on him. We're already up here. The airspeed is above 300. I feel confident. And there's 1, 2, and 3. Took that aircraft out. And now we're going to come down on this J7W. Can we hit him? Absolutely. Now it's just finishing him off. He was actually on fire, so that would have been really easy for us to knock him out. I was going to dive onto the ground attacker, but it looks like he was taken out by the P-47, and now we're getting chased by what I originally thought was the Hornet, but I'm realizing now is an XP-58. Very big, heavy aircraft, 437mm cannons, so he really is going to be able to outdirt me in a head-on engagement. So I think he's low health. I should be able to get these guns on target, but the XP-58 is very maneuverable, and while I thought I could get these cannons to hit, I was unsuccessful, and he outdirt me in the forward hemisphere, and he managed to kill me with the ram with what was left of his hit points. So that was a bad situation, and I misread that engagement, but fortunately we retained the zone. I'm going to respawn, and I have an opportunity to try and help my team out by going after this command center that's close by. There are 3 air defense aircraft, and they're engaging both of our ground attack aircraft, so I would like to get over there as fast as I can and try and help those airframes out. With a little dip of the nose, we're able to get up over 400. The aircraft retains a lot of speed just due to its mass, so we're still moving at a pretty good click. I note this one aircraft coming across my field of view. I should be pulling a lot more lead with these cannons. We're not getting any good hits on this airframe. A couple of nicks from the 23s, but not the good chunk of the 45 we wanted. I thought I could get a turnaround on these aircraft, but I'm just not in a good enough position to make that happen. So I deviate and then try and come up from underneath this other airframe. We managed to cause a bit of damage, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't me who finished that target off. And now I'm gonna start climbing again, and I notice that there's a bit of a fur ball going on over by our bombers off to the right. And one of them is a fighter. Is that Papa? Yes, it is. So Papa's the dangerous target. He's on the enemy team. He's probably played that aircraft for quite a while. So I would really love to be able to knock him out, especially at squall line, trying to maintain over 300 miles an hour, waiting till we get just a little bit closer before I take those shots. There's 1 hit, 2 hits, and he's gone. Get some hits on the Hornet here, but the game ends, and a pretty decent round for us there. We managed to get 13,000 personal points as well as the McCampbell medal. Overall, a pretty good result for us, even considering the lackluster crew we had on this airframe. Alright, now let's get to the end results screen and take a little bit more in-depth look at the airframe. Alright, so I'm willing to accept the argument that I did not play to the best of my ability in that last match. There were a lot of mistakes made, turning too early, overestimating the aircraft, underestimating the capabilities of the enemy aircraft, especially at XP-58 we took a shot to the face with, and that we were still getting used to the guns on this aircraft. But even with all those things considered, and the fact that I'm only running a 3-skill pilot and a 2-skill gunner, or skill points I should say, I think we did pretty good. The aircraft performed exactly the way that it should. When those cannons hit, man, they were massive. The 23s had pretty good sustained damage as well, which allowed us to really be able to put out the hurt on the enemy. And while we were in trouble at the beginning against that Hornet trying to chase us down, we were being very careful about our targets. We were focusing down the things that we should be focusing, which are going to be mostly your ground pounders, and then a multi-role aircraft that wasn't paying attention. It's absolutely optimal situation for this aircraft to be in. We made a decent amount of credits, 167,000. We managed to get 13,000 personal points, and we took out 12 aircraft very effectively. We were bottom tier. There were definitely some good players on the other team. You can see here Super Papa. I know that he is a good player. You can see racked up a pretty decent score here, and yet we still were able to top the leaderboard far and beyond. Again, I think that this aircraft has a niche. It has certain capabilities that make it powerful, but at the same time, I think that there's a lot of nuance to it, and there are better Tier 7 heavy fighters out there. There's other Tier 7 aircraft, period, that are better, especially when it comes to premium. For example, the J4M is probably a much more reliable performer at Tier 7 with the same type of credit payouts that you're seeing from this airframe. So again, the Tu-1, interesting plane. If you're grinding for it, awesome. If you're a collector and you're willing to throw a couple bucks at some of those harder portions of the missions, sure, go for it. But for me, I really don't think that it's necessarily worth it. It was a great opportunity to get a weird aircraft and kind of be able to highlight it for you guys. But again, Tu-1, here it is. You make your own judgments, your own choices, but this is my opinion, just taking another look at it in a little bit more austere environment. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.